What's up, everybody, and welcome to Beyond the Neon Veil. Today's show, we have my other cousin and one of the hosts of Benny and Moose Save America on the Last American Heroes Network, the none other than Moose. What's up, buddy? How's it going?
Hey, Bubba. I'm good, man. How the hell are you?
I'm freaking good, dude, and I'm ready to drink, talk about Vegas, and, see what's going on.
Yeah, man. I'm excited to do this. I mean, you're my second favorite person in this world, and so I'm so excited to freaking talk about this story. This isn't like a wild and crazy like weekend story. There's a little wild anytime Ryan and I get together, but there is definitely like this was one of my favorite weekends I think I've ever had in Vegas. Maybe like one of my favorite weekends, like at least top 5 favorite weekends maybe ever. So I'm excited to talk about it, dude.
Agreed. I'm super excited. I guess we'll kind of just go right ahead. We'll lean in and give us a little backstory. When was this exactly? Because I'm trying to like think back in my brain what weekend.
So it was the weekend of Avengers Endgame release. So that would be 2019.
Oh God. Okay.
And it was corresponding because my wife Sarah was, well, Sarah, of course. Yes, she was running a marathon in Vegas, the Red Rock Marathon, and so we were already heading out there, and we were corresponding with you because it was going to be the Avengers Endgame weekend. Sarah's parents just happened to be in town, and then our good buddies Taylor Humphrey and Travis Baca were also going to be in town. All of this was coincidence. It wasn't planned this way, but we figured we were going to take advantage of the coincidence. We were going to have a good time with it. So yeah, we got to Vegas like Friday evening, and then you, me, Sarah, her parents, and then Taylor and Travis, we all went to Maggiano's and had dinner there.
On the Strip, the one on the Strip.
The one on the Strip, which
right.
I will say still to this day, and I've eaten gnocchi in Italy, that Maggiano's on the Strip in Las Vegas has the best freaking gnocchi.
So for those of you watching, when you come to Vegas, go check it out. It's at the mall on the Strip, and it's amazing. Amazing.
Maggiano's, sponsor of Beyond the Neon Veil.
Fingers crossed. Give me that gnocchi, man. All the gnocchi.
But yeah, we go out to dinner. We have this great time, and for those of you who don't know our friends Travis and Taylor, we go way back with them, and they're a great, amazing guys. And when we all get together, there's never like a bad time or a tear shed. If there's a tear shed, it's because we're having a great time. So we were kind of keeping it low key, like we weren't like drinking super heavily because we were around Sarah's folks, and that was fun. We had a good time. And then we bid goodnight to Sarah because she was running a marathon the next morning. And then you, Travis, Taylor, and I went out. I remember we had those big freaking cigars.
Oh,
I can't remember. I think Travis brought them. Yeah. And so we were drinking and we were having those cigars. And we went to that sports gambling place and watched Taylor and Travis place an absorbent amount of money on sports bets.
That's right.
I to this day don't know if that actually paid off or not, but they're alive, so I'm sure it did.
That's right. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
But yeah, we hadn't seen both of those guys in a while at this point in time too. So it was a good time to like get out with those guys. We had a great time. We went to Fremont, which I know is a favorite for you.
So actually, on the last episode, I told Tommy that I prefer the Strip. I love Fremont, but I'd prefer to stay on the Strip. So
okay,
I'm
always a little weirded out by Fremont. Like I know it's a part of Vegas, but like, okay, look, Fremont's where the freaks come out.
Yeah, for
weird,
sure.
Man. There are some weird people. Like there's just people pretty much like walking around completely naked, wanting to take photos with people. Like it's just a weird experience. And like, I kind of feel like, and I understand like everything's cheaper on Fremont. There's good deals, and that's maybe the like right place to go to gamble if you're on a budget. But yeah, if you're not on a budget and you can stay away from Fremont, stay the hell away from Fremont.
That's right. I remember. Yeah, that's right. I remember going down there with them, and it was taking those two down there was interesting.
Didn't you and I go to like a bottomless mimosa breakfast one time in Fremont?
Yeah, at the downtown Grand. Yeah. We got to make our own, remember? Too, they just gave us the stuff and we got to go make our own stuff. I think
we
I
never
had the
did
Bloody
find
Mary.
that bottom.
We never can. We never can. So they have to cut us off.
For sure. Well, not willingly, but yeah, we had a really cool hotel, the Platinum Spa or Hotel and Spa. It was right off the strip, and from the outside, you wouldn't like think much of this place, but then you get on the inside, man, that was such a cool freaking spot.
Yeah. The room was amazingly nice too, like crazy nice.
You stayed with us that weekend.
Yeah, I stayed those 2 nights with you guys.
And then you and I sat on the balcony for 3 hours. We drank a bottle of Captain Morgan Private Stock, which is another sponsor of the show, Captain Morgan Private Stock. If you're going to drink rum straight, it's Captain Morgan Private Stock, sponsor of Beyond the Neon Veil.
We finished that entire bottle, I think, that night.
And we smoked another cigar on that balcony.
That's right.
Yeah, sorry, kids. This is not a very healthy choice show at the moment. But yeah, whenever you and I get together, we can just sit there and we can like it's like the conversation that we left off 6 months before just gets picked up. Like It never stopped. And so we sat on that balcony and just shot the shit and talked about what ifs and what could be's. And yeah, man, just most of it was Star Wars and Marvel probably. But yeah, it was like, so it kicked off with like a great evening, and we even got there fairly late because we drove in after work. So like that was like night 1 of this weekend. And then the next morning was rough because you and I were up it was like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. And we needed to be up at like 7 a.m. because we wanted to get to the finish line to watch Sarah finished the race.
Didn't we like just go to bed and then Sarah had to get up to head to the race? Like,
yes, we were like crossing paths with her, like high-fiving her, like, good luck, see you at the finish line.
Right. Good choices.
So we give Sarah the good lucks, the high fives, and then you and I go get like 2 hours of sleep. We're up. I'm like convincing you to rally, you're convincing me to rally, like, okay, we got to do this, we got to do this. So quickly pound a mimosa. And we head to the finish line. As my wife is super amazing and has run at this point in time probably 65 marathons, maybe 66. I could be off. I'm sure she'll correct me after the stream.
So amazing.
So yeah, we watched her finish. We met up with her parents for breakfast, who all morning long we were trying to get a hold of to meet us at the finish line to like give them directions. Mm-hmm. And they like showed up like 10 minutes after she finished, but it was fine. So we went out to breakfast. We went back to the room. We started drinking. We had tickets for a late afternoon showing of Avengers Endgame. But before this, we were going to do this virtual reality game that we put off. And this will be, I'm sure, probably a show for another time on this. But earlier in the year, we had gone there with some buddies from New Zealand, gone to Vegas with some buddies from New Zealand. And we didn't get a chance to do this like virtual reality zombie hunting game. Mm-hmm. We talked about it and we kind of mulled it over for a little bit. And we decided since they weren't really familiar with Vegas, we were just going to show them more of Vegas, which was pretty much just us drinking. But
so on that.
We went back to the room. Sarah rested up a little bit. We drank some mimosas, which for those of you tuning in, when we get together, usually we'll like, if we have daytime together, we'll sit and we'll drink mimosas. There it is. This is when Ryan and I discovered the Oasis, kids. And we geared up, and oh my gosh, was that so much fun. Ryan and I are like back to back, and this virtual reality thing, where was it at?
It was at the MGM. It was downstairs in the MGM.
Oh, that's right.
And it was so realistic. Do you remember during the battle, because it got so intense, us and robots, that I got down behind those boxes and was like leaning, and I just fell right freaking over because
well, it's so realistic. Like there's a part where you're supposed to walk in a straight line, like, but you're supposed to like be tight, because if you go too far to the left, your character is going to fall.
Right.
So like I can only imagine what it looks like for the people, because you're in this big room. Like, it's a big freaking room that you're walking around in this like virtual reality simulation. And I'm like walking on my tippy toes, like unbalanced, trying to, and then, you know, you're on your knee and you're trying to crouch behind things. You and I at some point are like back to back shooting. It was so much freaking fun.
The funniest thing too is knowing that Sarah was in there watching us
Yes.
with the attendants and just seeing us be all ridiculous with nothing around, but we're yelling and fighting, and it was.
She has a picture of like the two of us like in the middle of like battle, and like I'm like leaning back this way, you're like crouched down on your knee, and there's nothing in front of us. So what people can't see in the photo is what we're doing.
What we're seeing, yeah.
That right there was like, I remember we walked away from that thinking like, okay, and if that's where we're at right now with virtual reality, in 10 years, literally the movie Ready Player One will be in existence. Like, that's where we will be living in our life.
So excited.
But so, of course, in normal fashion, I have the most kills and Ryan has the most headshots. So we walk away like number one and number two from the virtual reality thing. And there were other people in there with us, but come on now. If you're going to put the two of us in anything, we're going to succeed.
That's what we do.
That's what we do. So then we go to see Avengers Endgame. And this is the first time, like, this is launch weekend for Avengers Endgame, right? And for many of you tuning in, like, all of us were excited. You're coming off of Infinity Wars. You're coming off of Ant-Man and the Wasp. You're wanting to know what the hell is going to happen. Thanos won. Like, I don't know if there's ever been like a more anticipated movie for me than Avengers Endgame. And it was so great that like you and I were going to get a chance to see it. And I've told this story 1,000 times. I'm going to tell it again on your own show. So cousin Ryan, and in real life, because Ryan and I are cousins. So I get to call him Cousin Ryan, and that's kind of how the name stuck. Was he's everybody's cousin. So when Ryan would come to California and hang out with us, like I would introduce him as, oh, this is Cousin Ryan. So like all my friends call him Cousin Ryan, like my family all calls him Cousin Ryan. So it makes sense that Ryan is everybody's cousin.
Our Kiwi friends call me Cousin Ryan or Pedro. So I mean, it works.
Yeah, shout out to Greg and Carl in New Zealand. We met you guys. Steve too up in San Jose. Miss you, buddy. But yeah, so cousin Ryan had gone and seen Avengers Endgame the night before. He just couldn't wait. So he's fully aware of every spoiler, and he's not telling me anything. We're keeping it low key. But the beginning of the Avengers Endgame starts, right? And Hawkeye's family gets snapped away. And it's a sad scene, and I look over at Ryan, and Ryan is crying. Like, tears running down his face. And so my first reaction was to just go, Ryan, you saw this last night. You knew this was coming. And he looks at me and he's like, it's still sad. Like, oh, so good.
I was entirely invested. Okay, 100% invested in that movie.
I love that story so much because like on second rewatch, there were still parts of that movie. Like even now, like I could watch Avengers Endgame, and there's certain parts that will still strike a certain chord that can get me a little choked up. But like knowing that you had seen that, like I didn't even suffer the emotional strains of that scene because I was just watching you like, what the shit? You've seen this, dude. Like, what's the matter with you? But
well, the funny part was
you've been day drinking all day too. So.
We had, and the funny thing was too is I was watching you to see your reaction as I was freaking crying. Like, so it was just a mess. Okay, it was just a total mess.
But then the portal scene at the end, then I started losing it. When Natasha goes, oh, I lost it there too. Damn. Yeah. I'm gonna have to watch Endgame later.
It was a hell of a movie. Yeah, I think I might have to.
So good. You and I, the last time I was in Vegas with you a couple of weeks ago, remember you and I were all geezered up and we were sitting on the couch and we were talking about Avengers Endgame. And I honestly think you and I both were tearing up as we were talking about it.
Oh yeah, hands down, 100%. So for those of you watching, Moose and I have had the luxury of being on another YouTube show with some buddies. And we've told this story a billion times, and I think we nerd out constantly. Marvel is our world. We love it. We talk it. Comic books, Iron Man behind me, so if you're around us, we talk a lot of a lot of comic books. So
yeah, there was a Halloween where Ryan was Iron Man, I was Captain America, my wife was Mrs. Captain America. We had a friend that was Thor. Yeah, Marvel has been our juice for a very, very long time. And
long time.
Before Marvel, there was Star Wars. So we'll still sit here and argue Star Wars fairly passionately with each other. But I think we agree pretty much on. I mean, maybe there's one or two like MCU movies that we don't agree on.
This is true.
Which you'll say Ragnarok, but you're wrong. But
I mean, you know,
for the most part, like I think Ryan and I could probably sit down and talk Marvel from morning until night. So it's been our thing for the longest time. And Ryan and I grew up together when he lived in California, and even when he didn't, our families have always been close. So we would vacation every year together, and so cousin Ryan and I go way, way back.
Way back.
Yeah, way, way back.
Way back.
But anyways, back to the way, way back of that story. So we leave Avengers Endgame, and like my mind is totally blown, just like everyone's mind is totally blown. Oh my God, Cap lifted the hammer. Like, just Stark is dead. Like, there's so many things to like digest after you saw Avengers Endgame the first time. And Ryan, in his infinite wisdom, had the greatest idea of going to the sports bar and having Bloody Marys to discuss Avengers Endgame. So we sat there at that sports bar. We had dinner there, and their dinner there was terrible, but the Bloody Marys were pretty damn good. We just sat there, and it was so much fun. We just like totally wound what we had just seen with Avengers Endgame. Like the whole day, just what a perfect day. We had such a fun experience with that virtual reality. We had such a great experience with Avengers Endgame. We had a good night before. Like, we were just on this like natural high, also lots of booze in the middle of it. So I'm sure that was helping our mood, but
yeah.
Yes. Thank you, my love. During that marathon, my wife used that time to be able to qualify for yet another Boston Marathon that she was running. Right. So yeah, it was a great, it was overall, we were just having such a great day. And then later on that night, we went out to dinner. We went back to the hotel. We chilled. We had more mimosas. The three of us just had great conversation. It was just, it was such a fun weekend. And I'm probably not doing it as much justice as I'd like to, but holy smokes, was that a great time for us.
It really was. And that's the thing is, the one thing I try to promote a lot, is to give an idea of there's other things to do outside the strip. And we got to do those things too, because we went and saw the movie off the strip.
Yes.
We went to level up on MGM. People forget about stuff like that's there. The bar next to it's really cool too. There's a lot to do, but going out and doing stuff outside the strip, the marathons that happen here, it was the Mount Charleston Marathon or the Red Rock. I don't know which one was it for Sarah.
Oh, it was Mount Charleston. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Okay.
Yep.
So, and that was that was North Vegas, and it was a cool area, and that, that was fun. So a lot of stuff to do outside of just the strip, which I really love. That we didn't even stay on the strip. We stayed off the strip technically.
And that's kind of fun having if you have a friend that's a local like Ryan in Vegas, he's done all this stuff on the strip, and then he knows about all these little hidden gems outside of it. Yeah. What was that casino that we went and saw the movie at?
South Point?
South Point. That's another good place.
Yeah. Very south side of technically it's on the strip. Las Vegas Boulevard is on the very south end heading out towards Cali, but it's a hidden gem. It's a local spot. Everyone loves it, man. I love it there.
But yeah, it was that weekend was just so much fun because it just nothing bad happened that weekend.
No.
Yeah, it was just nothing but great times. You got to see old friends. Wife qualified for Boston, which was always fun. Got to see possibly one of the greatest movies ever made. Ryan and I made our presence known in the world of virtual reality so that when we're all living in the Oasis in 10 years, you'll know who we are.
Our names were on that leaderboard, by the way. Remember that leaderboard that was up there?
Oh,
we were there. So it was a hell of a time. And, I told Tommy on the last episode, I love MGM. I think that was a really fun spot for us to go find that and hang out there. It's cool, man. It's really cool.
So, yeah, we took the Kiwis there too. That's where you lost in beer pong, and I'll save that for.
Yeah, that's
for the Kiwis episode.
When the Kiwis come on, we're gonna have some embarrassing stories about me and the stuff.
Possibly a pretty amazing video.
Yeah, we'll have the video. We'll have to have the whole group here. There's what, 5 of us all together, 6 of us all
Yeah,
together.
that was a lot of fun.
So it was a good
Until
time.
some a-hole introduced an adios MFer into the group, and Mark got ready to fight.
I don't think that was me though. I don't think I did that. I learned my lesson in my 20s.
That was our good friend Carl.
Oh, it was Carl.
Coral.
So we've spent a lot of time in Vegas. We've done a lot of things, and the more I think about it, we've done a lot of the same things. We've done Maggiano's more than once together. Every time you're here, we always tend to eat there.
We did it before, the night before. Sarah, myself, her parents, and my parents ran the Vegas Marathon.
Mm-hmm.
The Rock and Roll Vegas, where it ran down the strip. Yeah, that was fun.
I think because all these things happen in Vegas, I think one of the best things that we did that I enjoyed is hanging out with you guys and going to these and watching these marathons. But that 5K we did out in the middle of the freaking desert.
Oh, yeah. well, we got time. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
So that was the Area 51 marathon.
Mm-hmm.
Did we do a 5K or did we do a 10K?
It was 5K.
Okay, it was 5K.
Yeah.
So it takes place in the middle of summer. And
it's like Rachel, Nevada, I think is where it was.
Rachel, Nevada, yeah. So it's, what is it, like 25 miles from Area 51?
Yes.
And you run by the black mailbox, which is that infamous post that's supposed to be visited constantly by aliens. Like that's where the buses drop you off, and that's where that's where Sarah started her marathon, was at the black mailbox. And then they took Ryan and I a little closer, and there's that little alien diner.
Yep.
Yeah. If you've ever seen the movie Paul with Seth Rogen, Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, they go to the little alien diner and Jane Lynch serves them breakfast. Mm-hmm. So that's where Ryan and I started our race, and they run it at midnight. So our race starts at 1 a.m. Sarah's race, I think, started at midnight, and they do it at midnight because it's so freaking hot. So they started, was our race 1 a.m. or was it 2 a.m.?
I think it was 2. We were the last ones to go.
Yeah, so it was 2 a.m. So Ryan and I started running, and at the time I was playing on the Movie Trivia Schmodown, and I was about to, I was a week away from playing Saul, who I lost to. Saul, jump. You were damn good. But we were I was talking to Ryan, and I was like, I really want to film a promo. That would be really funny, and it has to do with Area 51. So we started as Ryan and I are running this 5K in the middle of the night, and you have to wear these glow in the dark suspenders, and you have to wear these headlamps. We start coming up with these ideas, dude, what can we do? What can we do? So obviously people must think Ryan and I are crazy, that are running the 5K with us, because we're stopping and we're filming on the side of the running track, and we're walking issues in
the desert.
And the whole idea, because Saul's virtual matches kept getting frozen by his internet. So the whole idea and Ryan came up with the idea, is we're out at Area 51 looking for Saul's internet provider. So we a 5K should have taken us 30 minutes. Probably took Ryan and I an hour and a half, but we had time to kill because we were going to wait at the finish line for Sarah to wrap. And they kept the little alien diner open, and they were serving booze.
Ugh.
They had they were you could, I think it was only 2 drinks, right? Mm-hmm. Wasn't it
yeah, it's two special cocktails.
Yeah, and both of them were just pure sugar.
The little green alien one that we did.
Yes.
Ugh.
I mean, that was the lesser of 2 evils, and we had plenty of those, but it was definitely sugary, and that's the last thing you want to do after you ran 3.1 miles is go and drink a bunch of sugary cocktails, but we did at 2:00 in the morning, and it was it was wild. That was I think my favorite promo. And then we edited it all, and we sent it in, and something happened where it the footage didn't get edited in time to make the match, so it didn't actually air on the match. So they were just tweet it out. So I was okay. So I had to tweet out I mean, it exists out there. If you want to go back to what was it, 2021, you can find the Saul, Ryan and I looking for Saul's internet, and then at the end, Khan was possessed by Zool.
Right. That's right.
That was
Also
great.
another thing that's important to us. So,
Yeah, that was a rough night, unfortunately, for my wife. Sarah got injured during the race. And so Ryan and I were waiting around, and it was really hard to see who was coming in and who wasn't coming in because it's super dark in the middle of the desert. And all you see is just the headlamps. So you can't really make out somebody until they're like within maybe like 30 feet of you. So Ryan and I were like pacing, but we would go to the finish line. We'd come back. We were just waiting and waiting, waiting. And then finally she showed, and she unfortunately didn't finish. This was the only marathon she didn't finish because of the injury. And because of like, she toughed it out and made it to mile, I think 19.
Mm-hmm.
And if she would have kept going, we may have potentially missed the bus because it's like an hour and a half outside of Las Vegas and where Ryan was staying. So that was the only marathon she didn't finish, and she went back this year because she doesn't let things go unfinished. And so she went back this year and she ran the marathon. Unfortunately, it was Mosquito Central this year when she ran.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I remember she had like 60, 70 mosquito bites. But yeah, it was that was just a few weeks ago. That was August. It seems like a few weeks ago. But yeah, so my wife does not let things break her or bring her down. And she actually has run this marathon 3 times, twice in person. And then after she didn't finish the first time, a few weeks later, after she was healed up, she did a virtual one to make up for it so she could earn the medal, because she doesn't like to get a medal for finishing a race without having earned it. So she ran a midnight marathon of her own design through our hometown of San Dimas out here. And then and then we went back to Vegas because she couldn't let it beat her, and she ran it again.
We decided not to go that time and just to get drunk, if I remember correctly.
That's absolutely correct. Quite drunk.
I think like 3 bottles of champagne down, mimosas by the time she got back.
When we broke into your bourbon stash.
Oh, that's right. That too.
Long Branch, Wild Turkey, fantastic. Also a sponsor of Beyond the Neon Veil, starring Cousin Ryan.
Gotta love it. Got to love it. I think the funny thing is all these things happen in Vegas, all these marathons that are going on, and I've always been really happy that you and Sarah would come out for them, because not only do I get to see you, but we get to go do things that I don't do as a local normally, because I normally go party and drink, but to go out with you guys on these marathon things is pretty cool. And so for all you viewers out there, look into them. The marathons here are amazing. That Area 51 Alien Marathon was super cool. It's kind of trippy, the vibe of it out there, being in the middle of the desert, But then what sucked though was at like when the sun started coming up, remember how cold it got? We're just like,
oh my God,
in our shorts and t-shirts, like, good God.
Yeah, exactly. Because when you start, like, it's still relatively hot because it's Vegas, and then you're running, so you're not really. But then when you just stop, and the later into the like early hours of the morning it gets, oh, it's like 30 degrees. Yeah, it was cold, and we didn't plan for that. We're just wearing shorts and t-shirts.
Yeah, that's why I kept drinking the alcohol and the coffee they were providing, just to try to stay warm.
Yeah, we were definitely doing the uppers and downers.
Just mixing the two.
But no, and Vegas is really, really good about every marathon that they run. They start early enough to where the heat shouldn't be a factor. Or they do it late enough to where the heat shouldn't be a factor. So I'll also champion marathons in Vegas too. If anybody is a runner or is interested in running a race, the Rock and Roll Marathon is one of the coolest marathons because you run the entirety of the marathon up and down the strip, and then you finish right in the center of the strip. And it happens late at night, and they shut down the whole strip, and there's thousands of people lining the streets, and everybody's cheering. It's really cool. It's a really, really good time.
I think I really give it to you two. You guys inspired me, especially Sarah inspired me to where a few years ago I did the scaled the strat, where we climbed the stratosphere and did all those steps, because I don't marathon, so I want to do something different. So I did the scale the strat, and For everyone out there watching, it's a great cause to do it and it's fun, but talk about getting your ass kicked. Climbing the stairs of that stratosphere was.
By the time you're done, how much, like, what distance wise did it equate to?
It was like, I think it was like 1,500 steps or something like that. So,
wow.
And yeah, it was crazy, dude, too. It was, I mean, there's people out there, the firefighters were doing it with their full gear. And
no kidding.
Yeah, there was actually one guy who did it twice. He did it in full gear and then he did it without his gear. And he lapped me. So, I can say that I finished it at least.
That's what matters, is if you can finish it.
It was hard, but it was fun, and there's a lot of things like that here in Las Vegas to go do those type of things between Scale the Strat and running those marathons. It's a lot of fun stuff that people don't realize that we have here.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. There's a lot of hidden gems. There's a lot of hidden things to do in Vegas that you really got to look into. I'm not the largest Vegas fan. I like to go to Vegas because you were there. Right. If you didn't live there, we probably wouldn't go to Vegas all that much. However, every time we have gone, we've discovered new things. We go out of our way to not repeat the same notes over and over and over, go to the same places. And I think that's what's nice about Vegas is there's a lot of different things that you don't have to repeat the same notes. I think that's kind of a very non-adventurous way to look at Vegas is if you go to the same hotel and you eat at the same restaurants and you do the same kind of things. Hey, it's cool. If that's your thing, awesome. But live a little, have some adventure in your life, go explore around.
There's so much off the strip to do.
We did watch that one Rams playoff game last year.
Oh, that's right. Parkway Tavern.
That was a stressful day for me.
That was.
Rams won. They ended up winning the Super Bowl. Well done, boys.
And then they suck this year, so we'll just go past that.
You really want to go down that road, Mr. Raiders fan?
Hey, we lost. Whatever. Carr's benched. It's fine.
Oh, why did you bench David Carr too? Oh, I'm a Carr fan. I think he's got the goods.
It's okay. Everyone, I loved it that they gave Stidham saying that he made all those points. Okay, yeah, but our defense didn't do anything. But that's besides the point.
Yeah.
The other thing that I want to bring up
for the Titans next year, so
probably, and we'll get Tom Brady. The one what I want to remind you of too. You remember that Italian restaurant we found down the street from me?
Yes,
I think it was Giuseppe's, right? Is that
Giuseppe's? Does that sound about right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the other Italian restaurant we go to. Yeah, we've gone there twice.
Way off the strip place too, but damn, that place was good.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't Shabu Shabu. What was the place we went for your birthday? Hibachi.
Hibachi, yeah, that's right.
Damn, that place was good too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And the funny thing is, not so funny, but more of it's cheaper off the strip. Do you remember how cheap those places were compared to what we were paying at Maggiano's and shit like that?
Oh yeah, Maggiano's is like a $40 plate for starter and gnocchi. It's not cheap, but it's damn good.
So, and that's what I want to tell everybody. And the whole point of this show is to look beyond the neon veil and look behind it. And there's so much to do off the strip, restaurants to eat at. That Italian place down the street from me is so good. I only go there with you guys though, because we go carb load before Sarah runs. I carb load for spirit. I carb load in spirit. That's
right. Yeah. Sarah may be running, but Ryan and I are carbing along with her. So.
It's so much fun, man. And I really love that you guys come out here, and to take kind of a swerve away. For everyone that's watching is the marathon things is I've been to quite a few of Sarah's marathons and we've always had a great time for them. The ones here in Vegas have been amazing, but hands down, my favorites would be the ones we've done in Seattle. So for those of you who are marathon runners, look the ones here, but look at the ones in Seattle. And if you take people with you, there's bars to drink that are fun. So,
I mean, this isn't a Vegas story, but do we have time to talk about?
No, we got time.
Okay. The Seattle Marathon, because that's another great Cousin Ryan and Moose story.
The Manmosas.
I'll let you lead off. Well, there's two. Remember the first time we went?
The first time we went was for it was the Seattle Rock and Roll Marathon.
Yeah.
And we went to my favorite little Irish bar for the World Cup. Remember that?
Fido.
6 a.m. Fido, 6 a.m.
Fido's.
And
so the World Cup was playing, and Ryan and I show up at 6 a.m. right as the Irish are playing like the Welsh.
Yeah, something weird.
And he's like, oh, this bar is awesome. It's going to be open for sure because they show all of the games. And we show up and the bar is like split 50-50. It's like half of the bar is filled with Irish fans and the other half of the bar is filled with Welsh.
Hooligans, bro.
Yeah, so Ryan and I started betting on which team, we started betting shots on who would score goals. And oh my gosh, it was so much fun. We started out with like, oh, we'll have coffee and then breakfast, and then coffee led to like a beer. And then it just, as it goes with us, and then it just, after the first beer happens, the floodgates open, and then we're getting involved with all the people like around us at the bar. Like, well, the Irish are rooting with me.
But the funny thing too is like we started drinking, ordering carafes of mimosas, of Irish coffees and whiskeys, picklebacks. I think we were drinking those too. Oof. And I remember your friends showed up, and we were like gone. Like
Alex and Deanna showed up.
Yeah, she just finished her marathon.
Yeah, Deanna had just run the half marathon with Alex, and they just wrapped up. They were in town with us, and there's some local friends in one town over from Sarah and I. So they were up there too, and they showed up, and then they started ordering crafts of mimosas. That was a lot of fun. That was 6 a.m. Then we tried to replicate it a couple of years later when Sarah was running. It wasn't the rock and roll.
No, it was like the Space Needle Marathon or something like that.
I think it was just a regular Seattle marathon. And then, Ryan and I, and that's when we were introduced to manmosas. Do you remember what that consisted of?
They were like that big, weren't they? They're huge.
They were giant. And then there was something like you could add a shot of vodka to it or something.
Yeah.
If you wanted like the manly manmosa or something like that. Yeah, it was. We had the one guy next to us that was supposedly a writer. Yeah. I kept challenging him on everything.
Well, it's crazy because it was like 6:30 in the morning. We were trying to find something. We found this little hole in the wall restaurant place.
Yeah.
That was open.
Well, because we walked like Fido, we tried to do Fido's, but it was closed because we got lucky that the first time we went to Fido's at 6 a.m. because it was the World Cup.
Yeah, right.
So we were trying to find somewhere that was open, and we were just kind of like wandering around Seattle. And if you've never been to Seattle, like the homeless run that town, and wandering around at 6 a.m. looking for a bar is an experience, to say the least. And there's homeless out there fighting with each other. Remember those two guys were like
they're yelling, throwing shit. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. We got lucky to find this like diner. But it was like a bar, like diner. Yeah, it was open 24/7, and we ended up having a great time. And we went to that Christmas light thing.
Oh, that's
the
right.
Night before, or the night that night.
That night. Was that the baseball stadium?
There's 2 videos that come from that I like. If I'm having a bad day, I can play. The one where we're walking down the stairs and you say it's a winter wonderland. That one, and then there's the other one where we're like, you and I are just like randomly dancing in the middle of all these Christmas lights. And ladies and gentlemen, we're not alcoholics, but we do like to have a good time when we get together.
Well, my favorite thing about that trip and that marathon was we were so just geezed up by the time we found the end of the race, the finish line of the race. And I remember like, you're just like, hey, I'm going to go over here and look for Sarah. And I was like, okay. Like my drunk ass just stood there. And I just happened to walk up to the finish line and be like, hey, can I hand out a medal? And they just gave me a medal to hand out to someone. And it ended up being Sarah. But
that's right. You hung the medal around Sarah's neck. I remember I was like 30 feet away, like standing in the crowd, like cheering on Sarah. And I look over, I'm like, how did this happen?
They didn't stop me. They didn't stop me at all. So it's fine.
You didn't stop you.
They gave it to me. They just handed me a medal, so whatever.
They're like, take this medal and go away. And you're like, nah, I'm gonna hang it. That was cool.
Cold, rainy. That was a fun time.
That was a fun time. We've expanded beyond the neon veil to include Seattle.
But yes,
temporary.
But the whole point of the show, though, like we said, is just to take a peek behind what else goes on here in Vegas. Everyone thinks the Strip, and there's so much more to do than just the Strip. It's a fun time. We spend a lot of time having fun on there, but it's not the only thing to do. Mount Charleston, Red Rocks. I think there's a Red Rock Marathon that goes on here too. So there's just so much, so freaking much to do.
And, there really is.
And I love it. And I love Vegas. And I can't wait for you to come back and visit me again for some dumb reason so we can go do stupid shit. But
it'll happen this year, man. You know it. I can see you in a couple weeks, man.
Yeah, heading to Temecula to go party it up.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time.
I'm excited. Yeah, man. Is there anything else you want to say about Vegas? About like, I don't know, like the next thing you want to do here, a show you want to go see, or something you want to go visit?
I don't think we've actually ever seen a show in Vegas.
Oh wow.
So I would like to kind of put that on the docket. I was thinking about that when I knew I was coming on here. Like, what are some things I haven't done in Vegas? And we've never seen a show, albeit concert or one of the like Vegas hotel like broadcasted shows. And so I would like to try to squeeze something in that, whether it be a concert or whether it be an actual like Blue Man Group or something like that, Circus Delay. So I definitely think that that's something I'd like to put on our docket, and I'm sure that might be a little bit pricier, but it's kind of a one-time thing.
Sometimes there's a really good one at New York, the Mad Apple. It's a Cirque du Soleil show. It's amazing. Honestly, they're opening up a lot of comedy shows here. Jimmy Kimmel has a comedy club now that I've gone to a handful of times, and it's really good. LA Comedy Club at the Strat. So like, there's a lot of different types of shows to go see, things that we can go do.
I like Jimmy Kimmel. That might be the route that we go. I love anything improv, stand-up comedy is always a good time to see.
So the Jimmy Kimmel one, and I'm going to tell everybody about this. It's a hidden gem. It's on the Link Promenade on the Strip, and it's really cool. You walk inside, and there's a bar on the bottom level, and you can go get your drinks, and then you walk upstairs to the club. And the club's upstairs, cool. And it's awesome seating, and it's very intimate because you're really close to the stage. I think I took my sister for her birthday, and we were like 2 rows back from the stage, and so the crowd work was involving us and the people around us, and it was really cool. Like, it was a really cool experience.
Oh, that's awesome. Nice. Yeah. Let's put that on the docket for something to check out next time we're in town.
No, that sounds great. That sounds amazing.
I like that.
Anything else you want to talk about, or you want to plug? You need to plug something real quick. So
okay, I'll hold off on more Vegas stories because I'm sure I'll come on down the line again. And hopefully we can set it up where we can get the New Zealand brothers on the show with us, and we could get a little Kiwi perspective on that one magic night in Vegas.
The Wolf Pack, yeah.
So I think we talked about this before. I've got a bunch of Vegas stories with you, and so we can, I'll if you'll allow me back, buddy.
Oh yeah, no, hands down.
Down the line I'll come back on and tell some more. But yeah, so I do have something to plug. It is a barroom trivia show that my good friend, our good friend, Ryan and I's good friend, Benny Hamlin, created. You may know him if you're a Schmodown fan, his brother Lomas. He had an idea to create a barroom trivia type show. And as you may know, I love trivia, and I was all in on this. And I said, hey, can I propose my cousin join the show with us? And so we created a show called Benny and Moose Save America. It is a barroom trivia type show. We have several different formats. The whole idea behind the show is that if you love all movies, if you love one movie, you can come on the show and you can play. We will write a match for you based on what you want. We're writing matches for the Mummy franchise. We're going to do a National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation match. There's a Back to the Future exhibition match that we're going to have. We filmed a Rocky match with David Dinjoy, JTE, and Pez Howard. So we're interested in anybody coming on the show. If you love movies, we will write you a match. If you don't have somebody that you want to challenge in said match, we'll find you a competitor. Just give us the topic. We're going to be filming a James Bond match pretty soon with Ty Lieberman and Travis Fishburne. We're going to be filming a Star Trek match with Craig the Barbarian versus Ethan Irwin. Ethan freaking Irwin. So we're having a good time with it. We have a drunk trivia format. We just have if you don't want to drink, you don't have to. You can just come on and play movie trivia.
Right.
We have a drunk trivia teams tournament that we're going to be starting in January this month. Or I don't know when this will air, but in January, we will be starting our drunk trivia tournament. And what we've done is we've invited other streaming shows to put together a team, and we were going to be having that team play another team. So we got What the Show against the Flick and Reel crew. And we're going to be filming our second drunk trivia match in the next couple of weeks with another streaming platform or with another couple of streaming shows. So if you're a streaming show and you've got 3 or 4 of you that would be interested in playing in a drunk trivia, like ballroom type trivia match, and centers around movie trivia, but we also throw a bunch of pop culture in there, hit us up. Hit up Cousin Ryan. Hit me up. You can find me at Big Moose Haas. You can find at Cousin Ryan 2021. And by all means, please subscribe to the Last American Heroes Network. That is Benny, myself, and Ryan's brainchild at this point in time. We've put in a lot of hard work over the last couple of months to put together some fun content, to put together a show like this with a local like Ryan who's in Vegas. So if you're ever in Vegas and you want to film an episode of this, hit up Cousin Ryan. You could film an episode and then you guys will go out and have a good time. But most of all, the whole idea is just people getting together and having a good time. You know, I've had a really rough, long week at work, and this was a lot of fun to come on here and just kind of shoot the shit, do what Ryan and I do together. And so that's kind of the whole idea of our Last American Heroes Network is just people getting together and having a good time. Trivia, telling stories. That's what we like.
You know, the Beyond the Neon Veil is my baby. Being a local, I love to talk about Vegas. I love talking to tourists and locals. We have a few locals coming up in the next few episodes to talk about the secret things of Las Vegas that people don't think about. But also remember, everyone, too, is you will see me on Benny Moose Save America.
Yes.
I am the bartender for that show. But we are also, my Call of Duty squad will be competing sometime next month, and we're really, really excited about that.
Yes.
See how that goes.
Let's announce that match. So we have Ryan's Call of Duty Twitch team. Because they are a streaming platform. We'll be playing the gents over at the Movie Hero Network. That's run by Pez and Jordan Anderson, Pez Howard over at the Movie Hero Network. We'll be playing Cousin Ryan's Twitch team. So that should be the drunk trivia match that will air in February. And we're really excited. We're going to be filming that one here in the next couple weeks. Actually, I'm sorry. Your match will air in March. We're going to film it next month.
Exactly. It's going to be fun. I'm intrigued to see how we do against those guys because we're just video game nerds. They're movie nerds. So, we'll see how that works.
You should put the Transformers movies on there if you really want to.
Because I just marathoned them.
Because you just marathoned them. You just subjected yourself to torture. I used to have to do that for the movie trivia show. You did that voluntarily.
I didn't realize how bad that first Mark Wahlberg one was. That was tough.
Oh, dude, it's like giving birth to an accountant, but sideways.
Oh, my goodness. I love it, dude. I'm so glad to get you on here. I'm so glad we got to talk about that. And you can make fun of me about crying during Avengers Endgame. I'm going to go watch it and cry probably this weekend again just to get it out.
Sure.
Just emotionally masochist to myself. But what do you do? What do you do?
Oh, man, thank you for having me on, Bubba. I love you, dude. It's always
of course, man. I love you too, man. I'll see you in a few. Probably when this airs, it'll be like a week, but I will see you soon.
Oh yeah, probably.
So, and then for everyone out there, if you come to visit, please do hit me up. I would love to do a live stream with someone on the strip while we're doing stupid shit and having a story. So let me know and just hit me up either on the channel, like Mark said, like and subscribe. The Last American Heroes Network. Check us out. It's going to be a good time. Thank you all for being here. Haas, Moose, thanks again for being here, man. I appreciate it. Everyone, have a great night, and we'll see you all later.